If you only visit Kentucky once in your lifetime, make that visit to Bardstown. There's so much to see and do. Founded in 1780, Bardstown is Kentucky's second oldest community. We're the inspiration for Stephen Foster's famous song, My Old Kentucky Home. Our downtown is filled with friendly people and charming shops. Vintage trains tour our countryside. We have 4 of Kentucky's finest 18-hole golf courses, as well as other excellent sports and recreational venues. We're home to the first Catholic cathedral constructed west of the Alleghenies. And above all else, Bardstown is recognized as the bourbon capital of the world. Bardstown is to bourbon what Napa Valley is to American wine. When you visit Bardstown, you'll learn firsthand how names the likes of Bean, Craig, Crow, Samuels, and others created and perfected America's only native spirit. If you want to see how bourbon is made, if you want to see how the bourbon industry has evolved over the past 2 centuries, you'll find the answers here in Bardstown. The Oscar Getz Museum of Whiskey History is the only museum in the world dedicated solely to the history of bourbon. Rare artifacts like pioneer stills, unusual antique bottles, and bourbon-making tools of the past are all on display. And because there's no other spot in the world that makes and ages as much bourbon as we do, half the distilleries on Kentucky's world-famous Bourbon Trail are located in or near Bardstown. You'll compare and taste different brands of bourbons, and you'll go behind the scenes to see firsthand the step-by-step process of distilling, from the sour mash to the rickhouses to the bottles. You'll dip your very own bottle in Maker's Mark signature red wax and label whiskey jugs of Evan Williams with personal messages for you and your friends at Heaven Hill. Most of our distilleries have their own visitor centers filled with distinct gifts and keepsake mementos that proudly bear the name of your favorite brand. And if you want to see them all at once, they come together each fall at Bardstown's world-renowned Kentucky Bourbon Festival, held each year in the heart of town. That's just one of more than 30 festivals held throughout the year in Bardstown. When the crowd at Churchill Downs sings My Old Kentucky Home at the world-famous Kentucky Derby, they're actually singing about Bardstown's Federal Hill, the Kentucky plantation that inspired what is now our state song. My Old Kentucky Home State Park houses Federal Hill, magnificently restored to its full antebellum beauty, and an open-air amphitheater that houses the acclaimed Stephen Foster musical, a lively evening of entertainment under the stars that whisks you back to the 1850s when Stephen Foster became America's premier songwriter. It's a full evening of lively singing and dancing performed by a seasoned cast of professionals that's been delighting audiences for half a century. While Stephen Foster's involvement with Bardstown dates back to the 1850s, the history of Bardstown goes back to the 1780s. You won't want to miss Old Bardstown Village, a hands-on, historically accurate rendition of what life was like in the days of the pioneers. Cabins originally built 150 to 200 years ago have been moved and assembled in the village to recreate this late 18th century frontier town. See for yourself what pioneer life was all about. And just next door to Old Bardstown Village on Museum Row is the Bardstown Civil War Museum, one of the 4 most important Civil War museums in the nation, with artifacts that focus on both the war's conflicts among the western states and the role women played in that war. If your interest in history runs more toward the religious, seeing the Basilica of St. Joseph Proto-Cathedral is a must. Built in 1816 and registered on the Library of Congress's list of national landmarks, it's the first Catholic cathedral west of the Alleghenies, and it's filled with important religious artifacts dating back to the 1820s. Bardstown is also the home of the Abbey of Gethsemane, the world's largest and America's oldest order of Trappist Cistercian monks. Trains are an important part of the Bardstown community, too. The Kentucky Railway Museum is a major destination of train enthusiasts and families from around the world. The museum is located in a replica of the original New Haven, Kentucky depot, and it's filled with model train layouts to delight children of all ages and exhibits reminiscent of the days when railroad tracks were the superhighways of America. Enjoy a relaxing 22-mile journey through the scenic and historic Rolling Fork River Valley on the only L&N steam locomotive in operation today, or revisit the days of fine dining aboard restored 1940s dining cars on my old Kentucky dinner train. You'll dine on fine cuisine and enjoy a front row seat to Nelson County's picturesque terrain as you travel along the Bardstown-Louisville corridor, originally charted in 1860. If you prefer even more leisurely travel, a tour of Bardstown on the Heaven Hill trolley or an around-the-town carriage may be more your speed. You'll see historic homes, quaint shops, and local family-owned restaurants, including the famous Talbot Tavern, the oldest Western stagecoach stop in America. Staying the night? As well as an assortment of hotels and motels, Bardstown offers a variety of bed and breakfast inns, from the elegant to the unique. With 200 years of Kentucky history behind us, it's easy to see why Bardstown is a must-see town in Kentucky. From rick houses filled with aging bourbon, to my old Kentucky home, to the historic cathedral, to vintage trains, everything about Bardstown says,
welcome home.
Welcome home.
Welcome home.
Welcome home.
Welcome home to Bardstown.
welcome home.